Dustin Tokarski, 25-year-old, his lone career shutout against guess who? The Buffalo Sabres. You guessed it, last season tonight. His 14th NHL game played down the other end of the ice, playing in his 142nd NHL game. Michael Neuvirth, 5-3, one shutout against the Montreal Canadiens. As we get set to face it off, and our referees tonight are Kelly Sutherland and TJ Luxmore, with David Brisebois and Mark Shushuk to linesman, and the Buffalo Sabres attacking from left to right here in this opening period, starting with Zemgus Girgensons at center between Matt Moulson and Brian Gionta, who right away faces his old team in the Montreal Canadiens, who come in here certainly on a two-game slide that they would like to end. The Buffalo Sabres looking to build off of that victory the other night against Detroit here on Sunday. Sabres now to center. Here's Gionta tipping it into the Montreal zone. Plekanec backing up into his own end, and it's played off the boards and now out towards center ice. Rasmus Ristolainen, coming off a career-high minutes played last game for Buffalo, gets it into the Montreal zone, and it's sent all the way down the ice, and Michael Neuvirth will play it over to the far corner. Torrey Mitchell can't clear. Shot from the far circle. That one goes high off the glass, and it's kept in down in the corner. Desharnais, Pacioretty, and Parenteau out now for the Montreal Canadiens, as Pacioretty has it in the far corner, sends it right in front of the net. Comes back to Evelyn at the circle near side, and his shot is stopped by Neuvirth. And the Sabres will have a chance to move it up onto the skate now with Tyler Ennis, and he'll skate with that puck to center ice. Tipped into the Montreal zone to the right of the Canadiens net, and now out the near side. Montreal quickly looking to bring the puck up the ice as it's set ahead by Nathan Beaulieu, the 21-year-old out of Strathroy, Ontario. Now Eller down to the right wing corner of the Buffalo zone. In behind the net, he takes a big hit. And the Sabres move it up to Chris Stewart here on the near boards. Four players along the boards. The puck comes free. There's Nikita Zadorov with that early hit. Told Rob Ray in the pregame show tonight, trying to line him up as best he can and certainly not take himself out of position in doing so. Nice hit to get him into this game early. We are just coming up to 2 minutes into it as the Canadiens will fire it into the Buffalo zone and in behind the net. Stewart waiting for the pass, bottom of the circle near side. He'll lift the puck out to center ice, and PK Subban backs up inside his own blue line. Quick pass up ahead to the veteran Manny Malhotra. 947th game played tonight, and given all he's been through with injuries in his career and dealing with that eye injury, he is, everywhere he's gone, been a very useful player in all organizations, and the Montreal Canadiens happy to have him now. Here's Drew Stafford for Buffalo, down the right wing, deep into the Montreal zone against the end boards. Cody Hodgson comes down to help out. Johan Larsson out there as well. Hodgson plays it into the corner. Larsson chasing over on the far boards. Georges comes down to keep it in. Puck comes to the line and now out, and the Canadiens down the right wing side. Georges with a hit, sealing off Dale Weiss as he tried to come into the zone. Here's Prus centering in front, it went off a skate right in front of Michael Neuvirth. Georges in the far corner. Comes back into the Buffalo zone, and Myers will have to go back in behind his own net again as the pass back was behind him. And now Drew Stafford sends a short pass ahead, and Delorier will shoot it deep into the Montreal zone. He'll race after it himself, in behind the net, finishing his check on Alexei Emelin. Play over on the far boards. Cody McCormick and Delorier keeping it in the Montreal zone. The Canadiens now coming up with it, and they'll bring it out to center ice before they shoot it into the Buffalo zone, but they didn't gain the red line. And an icing call coming up against Montreal. This broadcast is brought to you in HD by the new Stereo Advantage. See the first LG OLED at the new Stereo Advantage on Worley Drive. Rob Ray's down between the benches tonight.
Nikita Zadorov, we talked about him in the pregame, how aggressive he was going to be. Here's a good example. Early in this hockey game, finishing off his checks. He finished another big check over here along the wall in front of the bench. So stepping up when you're seeing this young man getting physically engaged like this, showing confidence. And the coach early in the season, tell him to hold back a little bit. Start worrying about your own zone. And then when this the kind of thing, the physical side comes, take advantage of it then. Don't go looking for it. So he's doing a real nice job here tonight, picking and choosing when to step up and when not to.
Rod, the referees are over talking with the coaching staff of the Montreal Canadiens right now, and I don't know if they're looking at a lineup card.
Yeah, they are. They're looking to see who started. And they had both cards there. The referee is back over to the the box. Now Ted Nolan's taking a look at his card to see if it's right.
So the two referees and linesmen now going over the cards at the timekeeper's box. 16:35 to go in the first period, no score, and now the discussion with Ted Nolan's about to take place. So back and forth, each coach gets an explanation. Back comes the lineup card.
Yeah, there's one upset coach, one not so upset. And the other referee, the young one, is still over at the far box looking at the cards, trying to make sure it's figured out.
Well, it certainly appeared as if the Montreal bench brought this issue up first. That was the first discussion.
Well, he's letting everybody know that he was right.
Well, Therrien now will go over his version. It's interesting looking at all the players' reaction on the bench to this right now.
I think most of them have no idea what they're really talking about or what's going on or really care. You know, you're 3.5 minutes into this game. Let's get it going.
Yeah. And off the faceoff, finally in the Montreal zone. Sabres with the puck out behind the net. Molson up top. Myers holds the shot. Now takes it. Traffic in front. That deflects high. And Plekanec with the backhand off the boards and into the Montreal bench. Faceoff will stay in the Montreal zone.
Well, Montreal starting off very slow all season long. It seems like this is an opportunity for the Sabres. Got to jump on them. Got to jump on them early here. Get them down. Second guessing again. A lot of the success Montreal has had this season, they've had to come back in the third period. They've been very dominant in the third period, battling back and getting great goaltending. So you've got to try to get them down early.
Desharnais against Girgensons on the faceoff. Buffalo winning the draw. Puck comes to the boards near side. Ristolainen jumps down from the right wing. Has it on the goal line. Puck bounces to the side of the net. Still there, and Dustin Tokarski couldn't get a handle on it. But we do get a whistle nonetheless, and the draw will come to Dustin's left, it appears.
Yeah, the flow of this game is...
Yeah, a little awkward to start.
Yeah, it is. Only one shot to this point for the Montreal Canadiens, none for the Sabres. Not a lot generated. The Sabres have a couple good opportunities. The puck was deflected off the net.
Bouncing puck in the slot, shot taken, and the save made by Tokarski, who just stood up to make that save. Canadians get the puck out to the Buffalo blue line and now to center ice. Desharnais, little give and go. Desharnais now in the far circle, drops it back to the blue line. Shot is whistled wide of the goal by Beaulieu. Now on the near boards, chipped to the line but not out. Emelin keeps it in. Beaulieu is well over the far side. Tries to send it down into the corner. P.A. Parenteau on it now for Montreal. Turns, plays it back to Emelin. Emelin far circle, opens up in the middle, and the shot from Desharnais didn't get through. Here's Emelin again at the point, back into the middle. Desharnais trying to slide it down low for Pacioretty, who was right in front of the net. Ristolainen was with it. Back to Emelin up top again. Puck is knocked off the stick of Desharnais, and the Buffalo Sabres able to get the puck outside the blue line to center. Tyler Ennis with 3 Canadians on him. Ennis, nice little move to get the puck back for Stewart. Back to Ennis on the right wing, down to the circle, and too much stick work by Montreal. They get the puck back again. Now a race for the puck into the Buffalo zone. Look out, trying to cut through the middle, and he does with a backhand. Trying to cut towards the net. Sekac playing his 7th game tonight. Now wheels back in front, comes back to the circle near side, and a shot whistled wide by Markov, and the puck comes out over the far side. And Andre Markov with it here on the Montreal side of center. Puts it right back in to the Buffalo zone. Canadians. Sekac, Eller, and Bordeval, and the puck goes up into the white mesh behind Michael Neuvert.
Now Munchie has a great opportunity coming out of the corner. A little miscommunication here down in the corner. See all 5 guys on the right side of your screen. Everybody in good position. But all of a sudden Mazzaros lets his man walk away. He leaves his stick. And then he just allows his man to step in. And check this one right here. Zadorov coming across in the middle. Whoa, almost gets him right there.
There we go. We're going to have a bout as Brandon Prust and Nick Delorier drop the gloves. And here we go inside the Buffalo blue line. Prust with a couple of right hands. Delorier with his head tucked against the shoulder, takes a couple. Boy, just avoids a big bomb there. Now Delorier tries to throw one coming back. Now they lock up again. Over against the boards on the far side. Prust and Delorier. Prust has got the right hand free. Delorier comes swinging as well. Prust trying to go underneath. Couple of big punches thrown at Delorier, who hangs in. Now Delorier freeing a hand, trying to work underneath. Now back up top again. Prust comes with a couple of bombs to the ear of Delorier, who stays standing. Now they lock up closer together. Prust keeps throwing. Delorier hanging on, and that looks like it'll be about it.
Yeah, great job by both guys here. Once again, right off the draw. You're going to see them talk right here. There's Delorier, there's Prust. They're talking before the puck goes. Puck hits the ice, the play starts, and here they go. And they both stood in there, did excellent job standing up. Toughest thing in the world is trying to keep your balance in these fights. And when it gets to the end, when you're so tired because you've grabbed on for so long and you're trying to throw punches, they're not connecting. There's not much left in the tank. Both men did an excellent job standing up, throwing punches. Both gave some, both got some. Call that a pretty fair fight.
Well, and Rob, that's Brandon Prust trying to do something for his team that's given up 11 goals in their last 2 losses, and that's Nick Delorier saying, hey, Chris Stewart can't do this every game at home. I've got to step up. Both teams looking for energy, and off the face-off, Gianta in the Buffalo zone for Georges on the far boards. And the puck cleared out towards center ice, and it's sent right back towards the Buffalo blue line by Jared Tenorti on the back end with Nathan Beaulieu from Montreal. Now Gallagher will shoot it into the Buffalo zone and in behind the net. Neuvert takes a look over his left shoulder, play in behind the net. Gergenson's nice job sealing against Galchenyuk, who tried to walk out at the near post. And the puck is cleared into the Montreal zone. Tom Gilbert, native of Minnesota, 31-year-old, back after it. Out there with Tenorti right now. And now the puck on the stick of Alex Galchenyuk. Shoot it in to the Buffalo zone, then go to the Montreal bench. Play in behind the Buffalo net. Now comes in the slot. Look out, late play. And a rebound to Plekanec after the first shot by Pacioretty. Now back to the far circle. Shot dribbles wide and actually goes up into the stands. And hopefully everybody's okay down in the stands there. No score on the board with 13:37 to go in the first period. The Ford dealers of Western New York replay brought to you by the Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
Well, we've shown you Nikita Zadorov being physical. Here, once again, I'm going to show you what this is. Does a great job tracking the puck back. Larson's got a hold of him. Look at, he comes across. He gets a piece of him, but he turns, comes right back at him again, and boom, finishes again. What that is going to do, that's going to send a message to every Montreal Canadian coming down the ice. When Zadorov's on the ice, keep your head up and know where his kid is, because he's going to come and try to get a piece of you. As long as he keeps it under control, doesn't take himself too far out of the play, excellent, because that's a threat the Sabres have not had, or they don't have that threat on the back end right now for them.
Well, the other threat Buffalo's not had is a good night on draws. They're now 5-1 on faceoffs, and as a result of winning the draw in their own zone, they did have puck possession into the Montreal end, and now a penalty call coming up here against Montreal.
Yeah, Pacioretty's going for slashing.
Stay tuned for the Karuba Collision coming up later in the game, and go to Sabres.com. Vote on the Karuba Collision of the Year. You'll have a chance to win season tickets for next season.
Yeah, Pacioretty's gone to the box for slashing here. He slashes the stick right out Ennis' hands right there. Catches him right in the hand, drops the gloves. So the Sabres got the opportunity going on the power play here. They've got one shot to this point. Montreal 3.
Habs penalty kill, 8 goals against, 55 times they've been shorthanded. Habs have given up a power play goal in each of their last 3 games played. And Buffalo off the draw in the Montreal zone with the puck at the far point. Now to Myers here at the near circle. Takes the shot. That hits traffic in front. And it comes loose to the near corner. Montreal can't clear. Knocked down Not by a high stick. Buffalo keep possession back in their own end. This Buffalo Sabres power play brought to you by New Wave Energy, your local energy supplier. The power behind the Buffalo Sabres, who bring the puck right wing to center with Tyler Myers. In around Evelyn with her shooting. Gilbert back after it. In the near corner. On the wall, Molson plays it up top. Mazeros with a shot, and that one wide of the mark. Evelyn with time and space on his backhand will put it off the glass and down the ice. Stays in play. Sabres changing up with his power play. And now to center ice with it down the right wing. Here's Gianta in for Stewart. Stewart behind the net. Puck comes high to the near side. Josh Georges takes a look. Bank pass off the boards. Stewart tried to send it back down to the corner again, but that's intended for Gianta. Intercepted. Montreal send the puck down the length of the ice. 50 seconds remaining in this power play for the Buffalo Sabres. Left wing to center this time. Georges cut down as he got to center. There's Manny Malhotra. Got a piece of him. Puck's inside the Montreal line and now cleared into the Sabres into the ice. Racing back after it, Rasmus Ristolainen. 26 seconds left as the Sabres come to center ice on the power play. Stewart puts it right on the stick of Tom Gilbert, and he's going to send the puck the length of the ice again.
Now you got to put that puck somewhere where you're going to be able to get it back. Stewart tried throwing it back across against the grain. Everybody's standing still on this side, and there's only one guy here, Cody Hodgson. Keep it on your side. Put it where the bodies are.
Power play with only 2 seconds left as the Sabres don't muster much with the extra skater now. Pacioretty comes out of the box on the left wing. He's into the play with Plekanec with a shot, and he sends that one high. Now on the far boards trying to tip it out. Sabres can't clear. Plekanec in the far corner. Turns, sends it in front, and Parenteau. The puck goes off him up into the air, but behind the net. And Larson racing after the puck on the far boards in the Buffalo zone. Kept in. Plekanec looking to send it in front again. Comes back to him again, side of the net. Now back out front in the slot. Sabres on it. And it's cleared out to center ice. Jared Tenorti goes side to side with the pass. Back to Jared here on the near side of the center with Pacioretty. The backhands one into the Buffalo zone, and that's picked off. Torrey Mitchell trying to come back over near this side, and he is going to the penalty box for a tripping call as he took down P.A. Parenteau.
Well, Torrey Mitchell comes all the way across the ice from the bench, and he makes contact with the first man, second man. He ends up pulling him down right here, being stood up. Gives him a little cross check, and as he bumps off, pulls down his man, Pierre Parenteau, to the ice.
We've talked about this Montreal power play. It's been in a rut, to say the least, and Buffalo know how that feels. 3 for 37. No power play goals in their last 7 games played. They've not had a shorthanded goal scored against them. And off the faceoff, Montreal in the Buffalo zone with Plekanec on the left wing boards. He'll play it back to the line. This is Markov. Plekanec and Markov go back and forth. Now on the far side, PK Subban. You know he wants the one-timer. Markov will take this shot, and that deflects over the boards here on the near side. Eddie McCormick trying to race after that puck to clear it out. Gallagher keeps it in, goes far side, and the pass for PK Subban bounces over his stick. And Subban has to back it up to center ice. The Habs come right back though. Here's Galchenyuk down the left wing. He'll send it into the far corner. Waiting for it is Plekanec. Comes back to Plekanec, trying to play it back to the line. Intercepted, and Flynn now will skate it out for Buffalo to his own blue line and now down the ice. This Buffalo Sabres penalty kill brought to you by Napa. Napa has the know-how.
Now the Sabres are just being so aggressive in the defensive zone, not allowing Montreal to get set up. When they do, there's a guy right in the shot lane with either the body or a stick. Nowhere to go for the puck with the puck.
Parenteau behind the net. Well, the Habs working on the far boards. Puck comes back to Markov and then tipped up into the white mesh by Zemgus Girgensons. 51 seconds left in the penalty kill for Buffalo. No score first period.
Yeah, just simple little things sometimes. It's just a stick in a lane we talk about all the time. I know you like to go for the big shot block and everything, but right there, very simple play, just sticking out your stick, redirecting that puck up over the glass. You get the whistle, change of blinds, and that just throws everything out of kilter. You're not allowing them to set up. You're not allowing them to get what they want. They're not any type of rotation. And all as long as you stay in that position, in that nice tight box, and not allow him to penetrate to the middle. In most cases, you're going to be fine. You'll give up that shot from the outside.
Puck comes outside the Buffalo blue line and now to center ice. Cody McCormick in over the Montreal line. Fakes the shot in the backhand. Dustin Tokarski forced to make the save. As the Sabres encroach on the Montreal net, short-handed. And now it's PK Subban to center. He'll snap one in to the Buffalo zone. Far side. Pacioretty back to Subban to the far point. Walks to the top of the circle. Takes a wrist shot on net. Save is made. Loose puck side of the net cleared. And out of harm's way for now. With 14 seconds to go in the Montreal power play. P.A. Parenteau. 15 working with 51 in Desharnais. The Buffalo line, that's broken up. Now a long pass by PK Subban for Pacioretty down to the right wing corner. Two defensemen go to Pacioretty. That opens it up top. But a nice stick to the lane by Giante. Intercepts a pass. Now the Sabres trying to race to center, but this is a quick Montreal team. Here's a turnover in the Montreal zone. Here's a shot. Giante can't get it through. Giante in the corner near side. Sends it behind the net. Gilbert takes a look. Sees Torrey Mitchell coming and plays the puck ahead quickly. And Bourneval, right wing, in over the Buffalo line. Takes a look in the middle. Pass through and off a skate. Teams back to even strength. In a scoreless first period with 7:52 to go as the puck slides into the Montreal zone. Buffalo changing. Quick pass by the Canadiens. In Beaulieu looking for Eller, but Beaulieu stood up at center as the puck came back to him as Larson got in the way. Now Larson down the right wing, over skates the puck, and the Canadiens send it into the Buffalo zone. Here's Tyler Myers. Bank pass off the right wing boards. Nobody there for Buffalo. Now Pruss down the left wing. Malhotra trailing. Far corner of the Buffalo zone. Georges ahead to Cody Hodgson, who just gets enough of that puck. Now Stafford's over the Montreal line. Puck goes in under the goal line and in behind the Canadiens' net. Markov takes a hit from Stafford in behind the net. Markov goes to the ice, and the puck goes all the way down the other end of the ice. And this is an icing call against Montreal.
Passion, talent, and hard work help the Sabres perform at their best.
That's also what helps us win injury cases. Give us a call.
Well, Tyler Ennis will take this face-off. 1 for 2 on the night so far. The best Sabre in the face-off circle, Zemgus Girgensons, 4 for 4. The draw to the right of Dustin Tokarski, who looks down on the crouch. And off the face-off, Tyler Ennis tried to race after the puck. He's knocked down, but the Sabres have possession here in the near board. Stewart takes it back to the blue line, now sends it down low. Torrey Mitchell and Tyler Ennis both there in the same place at the same time behind the Montreal net. A little half second there of indecision cost Buffalo the zone. We'll bring it back in. Here's Ennis in the slot. First shot doesn't get through. Second one does. And Tokarski with a pad save. And Plekanec has the rebound. And he'll lift it into the Buffalo zone. Strachan back after it. Nice job shielding the puck away from the forecheck of the Montreal Canadiens. And Stewart sends it pass into the middle for Nikita Zadorov, who just slides it into the Montreal zone. And the puck comes back into the Buffalo end after a failed pass for Alex Galchenyuk. Stewart from center. Sends it in behind the Canadiens' net. Tokarski out to play it. Tipped out. The Buffalo into the ice. Montreal making changes now. Brian Flynn right wing to center with a shoot into the far corner. Gilbert back after it. Tinordi knocked down to the ice. Is Flynn bear down on him in the near corner. Cody McCormick covering the point of the near side with a shot. That one is stopped. Good awareness by Cody McCormick as Rasmus Ristolainen was down on the ice, getting involved in the play, and then Rasmus wins the race back for an icing call again against the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, Cody McCormick doing an excellent job on the penalty kill. And when he takes this puck down the ice and he fakes the shot and then tries to make the move on PK Subban and ends up getting the puck to the net, the whole bench lit up and they're like, oh, what was that? He got back to the bench, big smile on his face, but I'll tell you, when you're doing things like that and you're trying things, and when the team's involved in injects like that, it means you're a little bit of confidence. These guys are playing with a little more confidence. Their heads aren't hanging here.
Girgensons now 5 for 5 on draws after winning that one. And the play in behind the Montreal net. Now up the boards near side. Pacioretty turns. He gives it away. Gianta now with a pass here for Molson at the right circle. Down to the corner. Facing the glass. Molson trying to protect the puck till help comes his way. Help comes now in the form of Zemgus Girgensons. And Gianta now in the right wing corner. Sends it in front. Matt Molson can't settle it down to take a shot. Mazzaros from the point. That shot deflects high. Tokarski well out of his net. Now backs in between the pipes as the play is behind the Montreal net. Myers has come off the bench with a late change. Here's a shot handled by Tokarski. Puck in front. Zemgus Girgensons had a great chance. Dustin Tokarski makes the save, but a penalty coming up against the Montreal Canadiens. And the Buffalo Sabres will go back to the power play in a scoreless first when we return.
There's no score between Sabres and Canadiens. 4:53 left in this first period. David Arnay is in the box for hooking. Nice work down low. You see Gianta hanging on to the puck. Girgensons circles around, and as he throws it, you're going to see Girgensons going to keep going through to the net. Desharnais gets his stick up between Girgensons' legs. Down he goes. Right there, and there's your call.
Match Pacioretty, PK Subban, and Parenteau, the goal scorers for Montreal's power play so far this year. Drew Stafford, of course, for the Buffalo Sabres on the ice. And after that face-off, the Buffalo Sabres sent back into their own end. The Buffalo power play 0 for 1. They did not get a shot on net with their first man advantage. 4:39 to go in the first as the Sabres gain the center ice logo with Tyler Ennis. Pass for Stafford. He'll chase after it behind the Montreal net. For Molson on the right wing board to the hash marks. Back to Myers. Cross ice. Puck keeps moving for the Buffalo Sabres. Good movement so far. Ennis now on the left wing boards. Makes his way into the circle. Molson's in front of the net. Sabres still on the outside. Here's Ennis trying to creep in. Molson backdoor. Almost tipped it. Molson behind the net for Stafford. A race for the loose puck, and Manny Malhotra can't get it up. Mazzaros keeps it in. Nice job on the far point. Tyler Myers has Ennis ghosting here to the near circle. He curls with it. Back to Myers up top. Far circles there. Myers keeps it. Ennis here on the right side. Back post. Bouncing puck in the slot, knocked down. This time Manny Malhotra will put it deep into the Buffalo zone and behind the Sabres net with 55 seconds to go in this Buffalo power play.
Yeah, you see Montreal penalty killers. They're very quick and they collapse down around the net. They got to find a way to get somebody in the middle of that and start taking the puck to the net a little more.
Sabres with a shooter this time. Gilbert behind the net. 3 Sabres, 1 Hab chasing the puck. Now 2 Habs in there as Emelin joins the fray. Cody Hodgson on the other side of Emelin now, waiting for that puck to pop out. It does, but Emelin's on his own and he's got time and space to clear. With 25 seconds to go, Neuvert at the side of the net will leave it for Rasmus Ristolainen. The unfinished defenseman now brings it up to center ice. To the Montreal line, he flips it in. He wanted to chase after it himself, but he ran into Cody Hodgson. And that allows Montreal, again, time to clear the puck down the ice. And the power play down to just 5 seconds left as Neuvert behind the net has to play the puck. Out of the box comes Desharnais, back to even strike, no score, 2:48 to go opening period. First meeting of the year between these two teams. They'll meet twice more this month. Little home and away. Down the left wing, Delorier deep into the Montreal zone as he takes that puck down under the goal line. There's a chance in front. McCormick with a one-time shot that stopped. Back to the line. Strachan holds it. Pass down into the circle instead for Brian Flynn, who tries to send it down to the corner. He does. Big hit against the boards. Cody McCormick's come to play. Puck in front. Oh, Delorier right on the doorstep. He's robbed by Dustin Tokarski. Sabres still after it. Flynn gets it in front again, and it's chipped off the white mesh over the net. What a shift by this line for the Buffalo Sabres as they go to work. Delorier, McCormick, and Flynn scoreless in the first.
Still no score. Sabres Canadiens, 2:06 left in this first period. Down low, Brian Flynn to Delorier. Makes a nice play. Driving his body in front. Goaltender right there. Not much room. Cody McCormick going to get out front. And here's Brian Flynn's pass to Cody McCormick in front for a great scoring chance. And then Cody McCormick's going to finish his check on Bourneval down low. Instantly grabs his left shoulder, came to the bench, and went directly into the dressing room.
Face off. Won by Buffalo again, so Zemgus Girgensson 6 for 6 in this opening period. Fantastic on faceoffs, and Montreal icing the puck. And hey, that right there, Rob, that's a product of winning the draws and forcing the Canadiens to try to find a way to get out of their own zone. How about finding a way? Ted Nolan's done that with his team as they beat Detroit. Scoreless with Montreal here, and you can stay up to date on all the roster moves and find out what the coach is thinking every week on WGR. Join Ted Nolan Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. with Howard and Jeremy on the home of the Buffalo Sabres, WGR Sports Radio 550. Girgensson and Plekanec. And that one might go against Zemgus, although Buffalo does keep possession off the draw. Here's Gionta for Matt Moulson, trying to go far side. Missed the net. Georges keeps it in. Puck comes around to the near boards. Myers racing down, got a piece of it. Girgensson keeps it in, throws it to an open corner. Gionta takes a look behind the net for Moulson. Moulson looking to lean his way in front. Emelin cuts him off with a pass, bumps him off the puck, and Galchenyuk starts Montreal up with a pass up on the right wing. Plekanec, pass intended for him, is knocked down. Sabres on the counter to center as they change it up with 1:20 to go in a scoreless first period. Here's Gallagher. Left wing and over the Buffalo line. Gallagher sent to the ice, but stays with it. Centers it in front. Bouncing puck to the far point. PK Subban for Desharnais in the far corner. Lazzaro's got it off of the puck. In behind the net, sends it around the boards near side of Myers. Takes a hit but gets the puck up to center ice. Pacioretty has it knocked away by Torrey Mitchell. Under a minute to go in this opening period as the Sabres come to center. A backhander lifted right on goal as it was PK Subban trying to clear it, and he put a shot right on to Dustin Tokarski, and he had to be sharp on that save. Parenteau for Desharnais behind the Buffalo net. Here's a one-timer from Subban, and that one blocked in front of the net, and the puck lifted out to center with 30 seconds to go. Canadians bank it in behind the Buffalo net, and they'll make a change with 23 seconds left in the period. Here's Stewart inside his own zone. Backhand pass to the far boards. Sabres forced back as Ristolainen goes cross ice. Now here in the near boards, Cody Hodgson sends it ahead. Larson chasing after it. Gilbert beats him. Here's Hodgson following up with a shot. Tokarski had to kind of get that shoulder up in the air to make the save as the buzzer sounds. Bit of a flurry to end that first period for the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, they did, and they finished strong, getting 9 shots in this period. But nice job getting their feet moving, being very physical, bouncing off checks, not getting tied up, but working their way back and forth, up and down the ice, getting in great defensive position. Never gave up a great scoring chances. Maybe a couple of guys got close to the front of the net for a nice point-blank shot, but for most cases, pretty clean in their own end.
Well, no score on the board between these two teams, but the Buffalo Sabres out hitting and winning the draws against the Canadiens so far. As the Sabres get set to do a little right to left in the second period. Of note this year in the 13 games played, Rob Ray, the Buffalo Sabres have shut out their opponents in the first period 7 times this season. They've been in games after the first 20 minutes, and obviously a lot of that has been the goaltending, but of late, this team playing with a lot more defensive structure, and I know you've talked about with some of the members of the coaching staff here, that's pretty much been the game plan to start the season, is to improve those numbers.
Well, the most difficult part of the game is teaching defense. You can teach offense, guys can put the puck in the net. You got to learn how to play in your own zone, and that's exactly what they've been concentrating on, pounding it into their heads day after day after day. And Ted Nolan talked about it today, and he was like, you know, it's just a matter of time. It's going to start sinking in, and that's exactly what's starting to work there. You see the own zone. It's much cleaner now. They don't give up quite as many shots as they have been in the first few games of the season, so give them a little credit. They're making those steps they need to make.
Columbus, Carolina, Florida, San Jose, Toronto, Boston, Detroit. All those teams held scoreless after the first 20 minutes, and the Montreal Canadiens added to that list of teams now as well, as they gain the Buffalo zone with Desharnais trying to play it down to the corner. Now it's sent to the side of the net. Mazzaros away from Pacioretty with his pass. Now pass off the near boards, taken by Torrey Mitchell. He has a lane or a pass to the far side, looking for Tyler Ennis, but it was tipped away. And now Pacioretty left wing to center for Montreal. He'll shoot it into the Buffalo zone. Neuvert points off to his left as Parenteau plays it behind the Buffalo net. Brought back to the point near side. No shot as Beaulieu drags it around down to the hash marks. Beaulieu turns to the corner, plays it back up top. Pacioretty, top of the circle, takes the shot. Save made by Neuvert. Loose puck on the side of the net. Neuvert down, scrambles back to the near post, and the puck comes to the boards. The Canadiens, Desharnais with a quick shot. Parenteau in the slot, and that one stopped, and now Stewart. On the loose puck will clear it off the boards, and out to center, and Tyler Ennis with a big hit as he goes to the Buffalo bench. Desharnais, though, over the Buffalo line, pass and skates. Now trying to chip it outside the line to center ice is Cody Hodgson. He does, but turning back with it are the Montreal Canadiens, and a shot by Yuri Sekoch, and he fires that one well wide, and it comes all the way out the near side for Larson, who sends it across ice, and Stewart will put it behind the Montreal net where Gilbert plays it and gets it back again. Tom Gilbert up the near boards. Here comes Zadorov down the left wing corner, keeps it in for Cody Hodgson, takes the shot. Tokarski with a shoulder save again, and he will hold on, but Nikita Zadorov getting involved there and setting up Cody Hodgson.
Well, this is opened up here in this second period. A lot of back and forth. Look at this pass. Torrey Mitchell's trying to connect a pass across to Ennis, driving through to the net. Desharnais just dives out with his stick, leaning out, just deflects it. Like we said before, it doesn't take much sometimes, just getting your stick in that right lane. And Cody Hodgson stepping out, shooting. This is exactly what he's got to do. 10 games ago, he was looking to make a pass there. Now he's starting to get shooting on his mind, and that's first option.
Sabres back in their own end, off the draw. Larson tips it at the blue line. Here's Hodgson trying to kick at it and knock it ahead. Press will play it back. Gilbert goes cross ice, and the Canadiens with a shoot in. In behind the net now is Zadorov. Bumps his man. Puck comes to the boards near side. Tip down to the corner. Hodgson turns with it. Facing his own goal. Plays it back on the near boards, and Larson with a pass. Up ahead, Drew Stafford takes a hit from Tenorti as he gets it to the Montreal line and sends it behind the Canadiens' net. Cody McCormick deep on the forecheck. Georges pinches down along the boards against Prust. And the Canadiens will bring it out to center. Georges trying to race back into the play. Buffalo with enough players back. Zeller is taken out by Georges behind the net. Georges sweeps the puck free, but it's kept in by Montreal. Subban turns and fires, and that deflects wide. Over on the far boards, Cody McCormick along with Tyler Myers working on Yuri Sekoch, who tries to play it back to the line, and it comes out to center ice. And Delorier chasing after PK Subban, and Delorier finishing the hit on the Montreal defenseman right in front of the Buffalo bench. Now Delorier chasing after the loose puck in the Montreal zone. It's chipped outside the line. Sabres, Ryan Flynn kicks it in over the Habs line, but the Canadiens will bring it back. Dale Weiss gets to the circle. It's turned back now as Cody McCormick comes up with it at center. He'll lift one into the Montreal zone, and Buffalo will get a change in here as the puck comes back out to center ice. Ristolainen and Mazeros. Talked about that pairing in the pregame show tonight. Mazeros feeling very comfortable with the young defenseman. And Mazeros will have to skate after the puck in the Buffalo zone again, and Montreal will make changes. 15:40 to go. Second period, no score between these two teams. Buffalo shooting Montreal 10-7 so far tonight. Here's Giunta down the near side. His shot goes wide. After his own rebound on the far side, puck goes high into the air, stays in play. Molson can't keep it in the zone. Zemgus Girgensons backhands it in over the line, but it hit Matt Molson, who was just trying to get out of the zone, and it's offside.
We talked about Cody Hodgson taking the shot. Everybody's looking to take shot right here. Look at this one. PK Subban right off the foot of Delorier, and he lifts his foot up and he gives a little shake off here. And Giunta taking the shot here, hitting the back of the leg of Zemgus Girgensons, and he was a little gingerly getting to the bench after that one too. Thought is, both times guys looking to take shots, getting into the net. In this case right now, shots are 10-7 in this game. Both sides are trying to generate a little more opportunity for each other.
Oh, big hit here as Josh Georges comes over and absolutely levels Gallagher on the near boards just ahead of the Sabres blue line. Buffalo send the puck down the ice, and an icing call coming up here, but Gallagher saying hello to his former teammate in a very uncomfortable manner.
Well, Dan, all night long here, I've loved the way the Sabres have been aggressive, making the big hit. And you see another example here. Georges comes across, hits Gallagher right there. Doesn't take much, just getting your body in his way as he's coming up the ice. So many times when there's somebody starts off doing it in the game, we talked about it so much about Pat Kaleta. When he was physical early in the game, everybody would follow. I think tonight, Nikita Zadorov led the way physically, and a lot of guys are following that path here tonight.
Off the draw on the Buffalo zone. Myers gives it away behind the net, and Gallagher trying to sneak one in as he came out from behind the Buffalo goal. And the Sabres get it back again. Here's Myers right in front of his own net to the line, but not out. Sabres able to get it out to center though on a bouncing puck. Canadians come right back. Chipped it off the white mesh, and we'll have a face-off with 14:47 to go in this second period. Looking for our first goal. Rob, we've talked about off the face-off, the wingers coming in to help out. I wonder if that extra space, because the linesman on that last draw made sure the wingers were that extra couple steps apart from one another. It does seem the wingers are able to get involved in the play a bit more. They're not tying each other up quite as quickly.
Well, you know what? The slot, the hash marks now are a little wider apart, so they're more separated. So there's now that less chance of getting tied up right up the draw. So you're able to get that angle. You're able to get that momentum and speed to get in there for support now.
Off the face-off, the Sabres trying to clear. Puck bounces side of the net. Zadorov with his head up, leaves it behind the net. Strachan takes the drop pass, back to the Zadorov again. You can see the defense pairing starting to gain a little bit of chemistry, although it's early for the Sabres. Here's Pacioretty with a shot, and a big save by Michael Neuvert as he comes over to the post near side, well out of the blue ice to make that stop.
Well, our Hyundai leader, we're talking about being physical. Nick Deslauriers leads the Sabres with 41 hits. Sabres in general, 360 hits, tied for third in the league with Anaheim. Tonight, Nick Deslauriers, 2 hits, 18 hits for the team.
Face off to the left of Michael Neuvert. Cody McCormick for Buffalo fighting to win the puck, played up the boards near side. Deslauriers can't move it up. Canadians shoot it back in. Down in the near corner. Rosaros and Ristolainen. Puck comes right in front. McCormick is there. He'll skate it out of harm's way to the far corner. Can't clear it out though. Ristolainen laying up the boards near side, trying to hack it out was Deslauriers. Puck does bounce into the Montreal zone. And Tinordi going cross ice for Prost, who's bounced off the puck. Ristolainen with a little turn as he tried to back his way out of his own zone. And a shot right towards the Montreal net. Shot by Tokarski at the side of the goal. Canadians in their own end. Tinordi up the other side, and now Galchenyuk tips it into the Buffalo zone. Sabres have puck possession back again. Georges to center, looking for Molson left wing. It's past him, and we get a whistle with 13:18 to go.
Now, Dan, we talked about the physical play here of the Sabres. Montreal played last night, you got to remember that, and traveled in. So as this game wears on and continue to be aggressive, staying on top of these somewhat smaller Montreal Canadiens, it could start to pay dividends here as this game wears on.
Well, you might want to take advantage of the fact you played today, you don't tomorrow, and then you yourself are back-to-backs against Edmonton, home on Friday night, and then home against the Penguins on Saturday. So Buffalo will be in the boat Montreal's in come Saturday night.
Yeah, it works out even for everybody. So when you do have those chances, you got to try to take advantage and jump on them. So it all works out on the run, but you've got to take advantage of when you're getting that team the second night.
Face off the Buffalo zone. Galchenyuk plays it back to the line, and a shot is wired wide by Nathan Beaulieu. Along the boards, Georges pokes it free, and now Myers racing after it ahead of Plekanec. Lifts it up towards center ice. Emelin has trouble with the puck. Staying with it is Gionta trying to get to the net. Gets the shot away. Now Molson with the puck behind the net. Molson brings it back to Georges. Bouncing puck. Georges keeps it in. Sends it under the goal line. Gionta tried to backhand it out front. Only got enough for that pass attempt. And now it's the Canadiens and Galchenyuk to center. In over the Buffalo line on the left wing. And Neuvert steers a shot off the far wing to the far corner. Picked up by Girgensons, and he sends it ahead to the captain. Gionta will skate to center. Lift one into the Montreal zone. Tokarski looks to his left. Sabres make changes with 12:27 to go in this scoreless hockey game. Second period. Pete Case Subban to center with a shoot in. Now on the near boards. P.A. Parenteau waiting for it. He'll leave it. Sabres with Ristolainen behind the net. Being chased. Gets the puck up ahead to Torrey Mitchell, who can't handle the pass. Canadians send it right back in to the Buffalo zone. Mazeros goes cross ice. Again, Mitchell having trouble handling the pass. Keeps possession though. Ristolainen now for Tyler Ennis down the left wing. He's over the Montreal line. Takes the shot on that one. Trying to go between the legs. Ricochets to the far boards. Buffalo keep possession. Quick puck movement there by the Sabres. Over to the far side, and now Stewart chasing after deep in the Montreal zone. The Canadiens clear, and this will have enough for icing, but the race won by Pacioretty in the minds of the linesmen, so we keep playing. Here's Tyler Ennis taking a long pass down the left wing. From just inside the line, tried to feed Stewart. He has it taken away. Habs almost give it right back. Bouncing puck to the line and out. On the Montreal now, Buffalo side of center. Here's Manny Malhotra, 3-on-1. Takes the shot and he fired it high from the near circle, and it comes all the way out the far side. Larson down the right wing. He'll chip it off the boards and chase after it himself. Prus gets to the puck. Canadiens playing it ahead. This is Dale Weiss now left wing to center. He'll cut to the middle of the ice, in over the Buffalo line. Right wing circle, takes a shot, saved by Neuvirth. Rebound there, clear to the boards near side. Cody Hodgson stood up, but he tips the puck ahead. Now Tyler Myers joins the rush. Drop pass at the line. Here's Drew Stafford with a shot. Rebound in front. Tokarski looking behind him now as the play's in the far corner. Myers keeps it along the boards, and now Malhotra with a short pass. Helps the Canadiens gain center, and Prust will send it into the Buffalo zone. Good push there by the Sabres. No score, 10.5 to go here in the second period. Here comes Cody Hodgson. He's got a man far side. Hodgson takes the shot. Saved Tokarski. The rebound is poked out, and Gallagher comes back from Montreal on a 3-on-2. Into the middle of the ice, Buchanan sends it off to the left wing, and a shot is fired wide. Kept in at the near point. No shot yet. Now still at the blue line. The Canadiens elect to go behind the net. Puck played along the boards near side. Kept in with the backhand on the corner. Gallagher with Galchenyuk going to the front of the net. Mazeros defensively for Buffalo. Stays inside of it. The backhand at the far post is handled by Michael Neuvirth to keep us scoreless exactly halfway through this game between the Canadiens and the Sabres. Date in Sabres history, Drew Stafford. We go back to November 5th of 2006 as you watch the play. It's his NHL debut. Picks up an assist on this Danny Briere overtime goal.
And Drew became the second player in NHL history to pick up his first NHL point in overtime of his NHL debut. It's amazing what their stats for.
They do serve a purpose.
Yep.
Before every faceoff. 13-11 shots in favor of Buffalo. They're being outshot. The Sabres are 6-4 in this second period. The draw will come to the right of Michael Neuvirth. He probably quite thankfully hasn't been as busy tonight, but he's been sharp when he's had to be. Some bouncing pucks hanging around the net. Canadiens are a quick team, and they win the faceoff. Neuvirth makes his save, and he's going to hold on to the rebound as he looked calm in doing so, Rob. And I know when you watch goaltenders, that's what you're looking to see. How calm are they when those pucks bounce in front of them to cover up?
Yeah, and we talked to Arthur Survey this afternoon, and he talked about in his own zone, you know, playing defense in your own, and they've talked to the goaltenders to freeze the puck every opportunity they had. Unless they're 100% sure, there's no need to continue the puck going and the play going on if they're not sure that they can make something happen positive. So look to see these guys, if they're in trouble, freeze the puck every opportunity they can. It's all part of their game plan.
Andre Mazeros with a shot that goes off of Tokarski and into the white mesh. The Sabres 119 wins in their 262 games against Montreal, ties the franchise record win total against the Bruins, who they have played 12 more times than they have these Canadiens.
Yes, Dan, to this point, Sabres 14 shots, Montreal 12. Not a lot of opportunity generated by either side here.
Face off, won by Buffalo. Here's a pass in front, back post. Stewart just missed it. Boy, Ennis found him with a neat little pass at the back post. And a high stick knocks the puck down.
Yeah, there's some nice work right off the face-off. And the Sabres are going to get a great opportunity. Chris Stewart. Ennis just sticking with this puck, not turning away. You see man come in to support Torrey Mitchell, which drew another man over. So it opened it right up for Ennis just to step in here. And as Markov's laying on the ice, a nice pass across to Stewart.
Well, Stewart took advantage of Prust on that play. And you'd have to like Stewart's chances in getting to the net behind Brandon. in opportunities like that. As a shot by Subban goes off the glass into the far corner. Sekoch trying to play it in behind the net. Sabres will bring it out now to center ice. Over the right wing side. Ennis will turn with a puck. Stewart standing on the blue line. Ennis trying to play it deep. Not deep enough though, and it's Sekoch playing it off the left wing boards. Prust can't get a piece of it. And the Sabres back behind their own net is Strachan. There's Zadorov. Zadorov trying to go up the wing here, but Subban had gotten in the way of Torrey Mitchell. And an offside with 8:45 to go in the second period. Still looking for our first goal in this hockey game. Scoreless game here in period number 2 with 8:45 to go. Montreal and Buffalo. Time for our New York State Smokers Quit Line trivia question. Tonight's question: who was the first rookie in Buffalo Sabres history to play all 82 games in his first NHL season? No hints yet.
No.
We could, we won't.
He's still on the team.
Well, I guess we're giving hints. Face off just outside the Sabres blue line. McKennett for Montreal against McCormick. And McKennett's with it. They're shooting now by the Canadiens. Gallagher chasing after it. Georges and Gallagher continue their battle. Puck comes out to the far circle. Now to the near side. Polio takes it to the top of the zone and fires wide. Gallagher in front of the net, knocked down, gets back out, has it behind the goal. Now tipped away from him. Polio comes down on his backhand for Gallagher in the corner. Watched by Georges, who goes down. And Gallagher does as well. Canadians keep the puck. Elchenyuk trying to take a shot off the boards near side. That's blocked. And Montreal sent back into their own end. McKenna tips it in. Myers with the puck now. On the side of his own net between the circles. Looks up ahead here on the left wing side. McCormick takes the pass over the Montreal line. Polio comes up with the puck. And says hello to the boards, courtesy of the forecheck. Here's McCormick with a shot. Didn't miss by much, far side. Larson over on the right wing boards. Backhands it in under the goal line behind the net. Tom Gilbert picks it up. Trying to play it up the far boards and out he does to center ice. Now race for the puck. Parenteau against Mazzaros, who takes the right angle. Parenteau taken to the boards. That leaves the puck free for Cody McCormick. Now back to the near side. Sabres now will bring it into the Montreal zone. Here's Delorier taking the pass. Ristolainen, who rushed up into the play. Cody Hudson sends a bouncing puck in behind the net. This puck is not doing anything normal out there right now on this shift, and the Sabres taking advantage of it, just bouncing all around. Here in this Canadian zone, Desharnais against the boards, giving a shove. And now it'll be brought out. Parenteau down the right wing. Looking ahead for Pacioretty. Watched by Ristolainen, who stays with Pacioretty. Now a pass into the slot for Desharnais. Tip to the far boards. Flynn can't clear it, and a big hit again by Delorier as he gets Desharnais enough to knock the stick right out of his hands. And that does the Montreal forward no good. Kevin Sylvester and Andrew Peters take your calls tomorrow morning on Sabres Hockey Hotline, 10 a.m. until noon on the home of the Buffalo Sabres, WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well, Nick Delorier getting involved all over the ice here tonight. Finishing checks every shot he can. And right there. Very simple, just finishing his man along the wall, knocks the stick right out of his hands. But when you talk about these guys getting hit all the time, especially defensemen, they start looking over their shoulders. And then they start taking a few chances or just throwing the puck away, and that's when you take advantage of them. It's not one or two hits. If you just keep that pressure on them all night long, it will definitely pay dividends by the end.
Face-off won by Girgensons, now 7 for 12 on draws tonight against the Canadiens, and then a whistle offside against Buffalo with the Montreal blue line.
Well, you watch this Montreal team as they're coming off the ice every time. They kind of look like they're frustrated. They're talking to each other, not just going over things. They tend to be arguing a little bit and, you know, a little heated discussion. And when at the bench, it seems like the coaching staff a little frustrated there on what they need to do and what buttons to push to get their guys going here.
Face off just outside the Buffalo blue line. Again, Girgensons, and he wins another one. Boy, what a night. 6:45 to go. Scoreless second period as Zadorov and Strachan go side to side under the goal line. Now Zadorov and back to Strachan again. Nice and calmly played, and then the pass up ahead too far. And an icing call against Buffalo. It was looking well for a moment there, and then that pass doesn't connect with Matt Molson, so back we go.
You're not seeing quite the pressure from Montreal in the offensive zone here where they don't have control of the puck. They're starting to feel a little bit. They're starting to pull back, getting themselves into the neutral zone, trying to cut that off.
Well, they're a speedy team. They love to dart and have that kind of pace to play. Sabres have done a good job thus far with 6.5 to go in the second. Now on the far boards. There's a shot. Nice quick pad save made by Neuvert. Kicks the rebound out high. Now sent down to the near corner where Zadorov against the boards, being watched by Pacioretty. Comes up the near side, kept in for a moment by Beaulieu and the Buffalo Sabres. Zadorov starts the breakout. Here's Matt Molson trailing on the play, and his shot is high. Loose puck, Dale Weiss playing it out. Sabres will shoot it right back in. Girgensons will go to the bench. Beaulieu from behind the net. Almost has the puck knocked off his stick. Stays with it enough to get it to the Buffalo blue line. That's as far as they'll go. Montreal offside as Malhotra sends it deep. So Montreal will finish the line change, and the Sabres will bring it out. Tyler Myers. Backhands one into the Montreal zone. PK Subban now looking for Buchanan down the left circle. Myers stays with him. Forces him down behind the net. Centering pass in front. That's taken away by Tyler Ennis. Now the Sabres gallop their way out to center ice. Here's Chris Stewart down the left wing into the Montreal zone before it's turned back. Georges will shoot it right back in. Stewart tags up. Subban slides a pass ahead. Buchanan saw Torrey Mitchell coming. And that broke up the play anyway for Montreal on that breakout. Buchanan's down the right wing, bouncing puck, can't knock it down. Mazzaros going cross ice. Ristolainen couldn't reach it. Now here's a chance for Gallagher in front all alone, and he fired it wide. Chenik on the far boards tied up. Gallagher far corner. Edmonton native trying to turn it inside behind the net. Buchanan. He's tied up. Buchanan twisting and turning. Mazzaros trying to stay with him. Now in the far corner, Buchanan plays it back to the point. Now PK Subban near point. Holds the shot. Now wrists one on goal. That's why Buchanan sends it in front. Galchenyuk's on the loose puck. And it slides to the corner far side. Cody Hudson has the puck fall right in front of him. Galchenyuk right there as well. Larson trying to get it out, and he does. Not as far as center, though. The Canadians changing up. Get it right back into the Buffalo zone. Sabres, though, with a nice little play. Get the puck out to center ice. Here's a shot from the center. That's stopped by Tokarski and sent down the ice. And an icing call coming up against Montreal.
Teamwork is an important part of hockey.
If you've been injured, use the teamwork of our 48 attorneys to help you get the best possible result.
Sabres continuing to build off of what they started against the Red Wings after things did not go well in Pittsburgh, as we're scoreless with 4:14 to go in the second period against the Montreal Canadiens. First meeting of the year between these two teams. As Zadorov at center, cross ice. Tyson Strachan will shoot it in. Comes around the near side. Lynn racing after it. Markov can't clear. Delorier now in the far corner. Subban behind the net. Tied up. Sekac able to get that puck up ahead. Now the Canadians right wing to center into the Buffalo line before Crust is stopped. Eller goes cross ice. Tom Gilbert will shoot it in behind the Buffalo goal. Neuvert one hand on the stick out to play it. Keeps it moving for Tyson Strachan. And now the Montreal Canadiens in their own end with Tom Gilbert turning. Sending a pass. It's knocked down. Here's a chance. Cody McCormick far circle takes a shot. Hit traffic in front. Delorier couldn't get the second shot. As it hit the Buffalo forward. Now on the far board, a pair of eights. Pressed against McCormick. Pucks come loose from their skates. And the Sabres come up with it. Myers at center with a shoot in. Stay right in the corner. He fired it into. Puck took a strange bounce right up into the air. Now jumping into the play. Far side. Tokarski with a save. Rebound wraparound attempt in front. Comes all the way outside the zone. Tyler Myers with a first chance. Girgensson on his horse, sends it up ahead on the left wing. Giunta trying to slide it through from Olsen, but P.A. Parenteau does just enough to knock the Sabres forward off stride and keep them away from Dustin Tokarski. Nothing on the board yet with 2:47 to go in the second. 2:47 to go, second period. Buffalo, Montreal, no score.
Yeah, take a look at our game summary.
The Buffalo Sabres have launched a free mobile app that allows users to earn points and redeem them for Sabres merchandise, tickets, and experiences. Enter tonight's keyword breakaway to earn 10 points. For more information, visit sabres.com/fan advantage. Face off for the Montreal zone. Sabres, far point, keep it in. Ristolainen fakes the shot, takes it down. Delayed penalty coming up on the play. Sabres goaltenders going to the bench. And with that, cross-checking call coming up against Montreal.
Well, Sabres going on the power play here. Cross-checking being called. Montreal. Orville's going to get it right here. 28 just coming out. Knocking Gianta to the ice. He's coming way out of his way to take his man. There was no reason even to be all the way out there. Gianta's in no harmed way out there. He's in no man's land. And you take your way all the way out to that point to knock him down. I have to say that's a bad penalty on his part.
Face off of the Montreal zone. Buffalo's power play 0 for 2. They have one shot with the man advantage. Back to the line. Myers looking for that second shot, and he fires it wide. Here's an open net, and Mazeros missed the target down here on the near side. Ennis turning far board, sends it back for Myers. Malhotra all over him. Ennis top of the circle, far side again. Mazeros creeping down here, but couldn't handle the pass. And back come the Canadians shorthanded. And then they lose the puck hitting the Buffalo blue line. Sabres, right wing to center with a shoot in. With the extra skater. Won't be able to keep the puck in the zone as Pacioretty's going to send the pass out to center ice. Here comes Buchanan's. In over the line, looking back for Pacioretty. Oh, what a save made by Neuvirth, reaching with that blocker over to his right. Buffalo's allowed one shorthanded goal against this year. Canadians coming awfully close to making that a deuce. Myers can't get it away from Pruss, standing at the Buffalo blue line, and now it'll be hammered right back in the Buffalo zone by Emelin, but he hit it pretty hard, and it comes all the way out. Back to Gilbert, is going to send it back into the Buffalo zone. Sabres just can't get out of their own end with possession right now. 40 seconds left with a man advantage to center ice. Tony Hodgson on the bouncing puck. Gilbert playing it behind the net. Emelin trying to clear. Ristolainen pinching down in the far corner in the Montreal zone. Stewart trying to backhand it back to the point. Canadians intercept, and they'll skate it out. 1 minute to go in the period. Cody Hodgson steals it back for Buffalo. Down the left wing corner, turns it back up top. Josh Georges looks across the ice, but keeps it near side. Hodgson with a wrist shot, and it's kicked the rebound to the boards near side. Now Ristolainen with a neat little move at the line to keep it in, and then trying to go across the ice. Marzeller with the intercept, and that'll do it. The power play comes to an end as the Montreal defenseman Nathan Beaulieu steps back onto the ice and has the puck just outside his own blue line. Tips it ahead for Gallagher down the right wing into the Buffalo zone. He's sealed off nicely by Tyler Myers. Gallagher, though, just keeps on going, doesn't he? Down in the far corner. Galchenyuk on the puck now in the Buffalo zone with 16 seconds to go. In behind the net, tried to bank it in off Neuvirth, who picks it up with the blocker, and now Gallagher, a couple of extra swings after the whistle against Mazeros. Linesmen step in, and that's about that.
Well, Brendan Gallagher, very spirited shift, does a nice job taking this puck to the outside. Tyler Myers coming across to support Brian Flynn. Just eliminates him from the puck. Right here, just comes in, takes the body, leaves the puck for Brian Flynn. Nice job by Myers, and then right at the front, at the end of the play, in front of the net, you see Gallagher coming through, giving Mazeros a little shot as he's driving through. Mazeros pushes back. Everybody converges in. Not much comes out of it.
12.9 seconds to go in the period. Face off in the Buffalo zone to the right of the net. And Torrey Mitchell steps in off the draw, wins possession, plays it up the boards near side. 6 seconds to go. George is ahead to center with a pass. And it's lifted right on. Tokarski will steer it to the near corner. And Zemgus Girgensons takes a hit at the end of the period. The linesman rushes over and realizes that 28 can take it.
Yeah, he sure can. He gives it out too, but
Yep.
another nice period by the Sabres. They've stuck to the game plan. They've continued to be physical. They're hanging on to the pucks. 19 shots to this point, out shooting Montreal by 4. But just all the little things they're doing, pinching off on the wall, getting the puck deep, not taking any chances, but being extremely responsible defensively.
So we wait this game's first goal still, and as far as the Buffalo Sabres are concerned, what Rob Ray and Brad May will like about this game tonight, Buffalo is engaged, out hitting Montreal 23-10. But again, still looking for the game's first goal. Second intermission when we come back.
Possession for the Canadiens and the Sabres through 40 minutes of play as Buffalo makes their way through the rope line and back onto the ice here at First Niagara Center. Just about even up once again as far as offensive zone, but puck possession in the offensive zone actually featured a better number for Montreal, and I think that was obvious based on some of those highlight looks. They had some good puck movement. Dan and Rob for the third. See you on the Lexus postgame report.
Well, on the theme of no goals scored through time of game, as they're going to hold this as Plekanec swats in and takes this shot. The Sabres for the second time this season. Plekanec again from the near circle. I'm afraid to give this stat out right now as Neuvert makes a save at the near post. But second time through 2 periods this year, Buffalo Sabres have shut out their opponent. The only other time that's happened, of course, was in San Jose as we continue to get a scrum in behind the Buffalo net, which now sees the players disperse. And Rob, you talked about hits. You look at a player like Nick Delorier, 4 hits in this game already. And here's a guy that's his value to this hockey team, isn't it?
Well, that's what he has to do, and it's no secret Ted Nolan has told him. I mean, this is what you got to do. This is what we want you to do each and every night. Be all over the ice. If you got to drop your gloves, you drop your gloves. If you got an opportunity to run somebody through the wall, that's what you're going to do. And that's what Nick Delorier has to do each and every night to continue to stay in the lineup. If he does not do that, he's not going to be in the lineup. Doing an excellent job of it lately.
Here's Subban and a pad save made. Rebound, they score! Parenteau. 19 seconds into the period. And it's 1-0 Montreal.
Well, this is what Montreal has done many times this season. Battle back in the third period and get some good goals, get some good effort. And right here, Mazzaros just trying to get this puck with his skate. After the shot is taken, the save is made. Mazzaros trying to get the puck with his skate, and Mitchell not able to tie up. P.A. Parento coming in. Just a little communication breakdown there. Kind of spinning around Mazzaros. I don't know why he just wasn't in one position following the puck, wondering where it is. But he got it in his skates, and when he did, not able to keep control of it.
So the former Islander strikes first. His 3rd of the season. Here's Galchenyuk now, right over the Buffalo line. From the left wing point, he'll send it to the far side. Plekanec's trying to get a handle on the puck. Subban knocked to the ice. Now here's a chance for a 2-on-1 for Buffalo. Racing back to Plekanec against Ennis, and stick work by Plekanec on Ennis. Forces the play to the corner now. Ennis gets it in front, and Stewart can't backhand it. As he was a little handcuffed here at the near post, in tight. And Galchenyuk takes a hit from Stewart as he sends it right in on Neuvert, who gloves it. And we'll leave it out for Tyler Myers. He's got company right in front of him right away. And the Sabres get the puck up to center ice. And then it's lifted up out of play.
Well, Dan, P.A. Parento was one of those guys that we talked about in the pregame that had not put good numbers up on the board. It's been 8 games since he's got a point, getting his 3rd goal of the season there. Montreal is going to look to these guys and hope that some of them get going here, but it's been long stretches of droughts for some of these guys, scoring goals and even putting numbers up, even assists. So that might be a big goal for P.A. Parento.
Very late pick for the Ducks. Parento, who now settles in Montreal in his 76th career goal. Cody Hudson over on the Montreal line, wrists the line in, trying to go back to Hudson, and he tripped up from behind. Mazzaros trying to send it down to the corner. Now he's got to back it up. Potential 4-on-1 for Montreal as they gain the Buffalo line. Here's Pacioretty trying to send it across, and a nice play to break it up. Pass never did get to the front of the net. Pacioretty from the corner. Now in behind the net. Hodgson there with him. Comes to the near side. Tipped by Larson for Ristolainen. Andrew Stafford turns with it. Sekac trying to keep it in. The Sabres not having their best start here to this third period. Get the puck out to center ice, and Sekac dances back with it. Center ice. Get over the line, puts it off the right wing boards, down to the corner. Zadorov hit hard from behind, and Sekac walks right over top of Zadorov, and here comes the cavalry for the Buffalo Sabres. And Zadorov, the good news is, gets right up and skates to the bench with a towel to his face under his own steam.
Yeah, he's turning, showing the referee, and he's going right into the dressing room. He's got that towel up over the right eye.
.17:37 to go in the third as this happens. Let's take a look.
Take a look at it right here. Just coming in, finishing his check. You see he's far enough away from the boards. He's leaning into the boards, trying to play this puck. And Girgenson's man gets by him for no other reason other than just letting him go, not tying him up to allow him to get in there, and he just finishes the check. Instead of just going in and bumping him a little bit, he just buries him, and you see him give that extra push. Zadorov's face comes right up into the glass.
Well, it's only a 2-minute boarding call, and that's what Ted Nolan is questioning right now. I can guarantee you that.
He should be, because blood, he's being cut.
Well, face first into the glass from behind. Nonetheless, that's what the referees have dictated. Buffalo power play with 2 shots are 0 for 3. And they trail 1-0. So it's time to go to work and get this power play in front of the home fans clicking. Brad May mentioned it's not been going well tonight. To this point, Sabres not doing a good job in Mayday's mindset of chasing after their own shoot-ins and getting puck possession in. Let's see how they work this one. The face-off will be in the Montreal zone to the right of Dustin Tokarski, and off the draw, the Canadiens with puck is crushed in the near corner. Trying to play it out. Myers keeps it in. Here's Tyler Ennis up high in the zone, sends it down to the corner, right wing side. Drew Stafford. Watched by PK Subban, aggressive on the play for the Canadiens. Down in the near corner. Here's a chance. Molson walks out in front, and he can't pass it on the tape. Here's Myers with a shot, and that's blocked by Prust. Sabres keep it deep. Molson walked right to the front of the net, had a teammate with him, and the pass just didn't connect, and Mazeros will go back after it.
No, we talked about guys having to be a little more selfish. There was a case right there. Matt Molson's got to take that shot. You don't look for the pass when you're one-on-one with the goaltender like that.
Sabres shoot it in. Myers comes up with the puck, drives to the net. Loose puck, they score! Drew Stafford ties the game with a power play goal, his second power play goal of the season, and the Sabres' second power play goal of this young campaign.
Well, you can see right here, do a nice job getting the puck. And it just bounced. It bounced all the way through. Big Tyler Myers trying to get a handle on it, and he just really can't. It's just hitting everything along the way, skates, sticks, and everything. Drew Stafford just gets himself planted on the far side of the net, waiting for it to come through. He's realizing that if it doesn't come through on its own, Tyler Myers is going to get a piece of it, and it should come right through to him. And he just showed great patience standing there waiting. And you see that the second goal of the season for Drew Stafford. And that got this building alive, I'll tell you.
2 goals for Stafford, both on the power play. And we're all even with 16:44 to go as the puck drops in the opening, so the face-off after the goal. And now Gianta plays it up the middle. Molson chips it deep. Girgenson's after it. Foley plays it to the near corner. Myers pinching down again along the boards to keep it in. Got a piece of the puck. Now it's cleared out off the linesman. Fortuitous from Montreal as Gallagher's on it. Drags a shot through and a save made by Neuvert. Plekanec after the rebound. Girgenson's nice stick work to take that away from him. Then he turns it over. Gallagher trying to hit Plekanec in the slot. Play comes to the near boards. Now down to the corner. Canadiens. Galchenyuk trying to play it back to the line. It's too far between Emelin and Beaulieu, and it goes all the way back into the Montreal zone. PK Subban now from his own blue line to center ice. He'll be forced back by Brian Flynn. Canadiens finish up the change, and they'll start the rush. Subban. Markov to Subban, and he'll shoot it in. Far corner. Parento against the boards, right wing side. Stellainen defensively. Mazzaros racing down to the corner. Mazzaros staying with his man. He was on the wrong side of the Montreal forward, but he just stayed with him. And knocked Desharnais to the ice eventually. That allowed the puck to come back towards the line. Now it's Nicolas Deslauriers turning with it. Just inside his own blue line, right wing to center. Puck knocked down, high stick, but we continue on. Is Cody McCormick chasing down after PK Subban. Markov trying to play it up the boards. Pacioretty tips it out to center. Desharnais in over the Buffalo line. On the left wing side, Desharnais trying to dance his way around Zadorov. He does, sends a pass out for back, and oh, what a save! Michael Neuvert! Right pad magic keeps the game tied. Now the Canadiens, Gilbert, far circle. Sends it in under the goal line. Trust looks back to the point. Gilbert, one-timer! Pad save again by Neuvert. He kicks it out, and the Sabres will make their way outside their own zone with 14:40 to go in the third period. Fired in behind the Montreal net. Tokarski out to play it. Puts it past Gilbert. That frees up now behind the net. Drew Stafford. Stafford looks a walk to come in front, but can't get to the front of the goal. It's forced under the goal line. Near corner, knocked down. Fans want a call. They won't get it. Habs have the puck to center. Prust will lift it in. Neuvert out to play it to his left. He backhands it now to the near corner. Myers keeps the puck moving, and Drew Stafford with it now. He's got a pass cross ice. George is up into the plate. Takes the shot. Tokarski makes the save. George is right in on his forward teammate to force the faceoff.
Now Dale Weiss is coming to the box, and he is not a happy man right now because of Michael Neuvert stopping him with an unbelievable save. You see down here Cody McCormick finishing his check. And as he does, that puck comes to the front. Weiss steps in. And Neuvert getting that right leg out right there to make the save with the blocker and the pad to keep this tied at 1.
Right off the draw, shot steered by Tokarski down to the corner. Mitchell knocked off the puck. Canadians will bring it out. Plekanec with a pass to center. Here's Gallagher making his way over the Buffalo line, and the shot goes right on along the ice to Michael Neuvert, and he will hold on with some more talking at the side of the Buffalo goal, but we are tied at 1 in the third period with 13:54 to go. The Connors and Ferris replay, Western New York's workers' comp attorneys.
Well, Drew Stafford just scored to tie this hockey game at 1. And when he scores, it puts the end to Dustin Tokarski's shutout streak of 121 minutes and 57 seconds versus the Sabres.
Face off to the left of Michael Neuvert. Girgensons on the draw for Buffalo. Galchenyuk on the puck. Both of those players first round selections in the 2012 draft. Girgensons taken 14th overall. Galchenyuk 3rd overall. PK Subban comes down the boards. Far side trying to keep it in the Buffalo zone. Comes out to center. And Markov for Subban. Trying to move the puck up the ice. And Zemgus Girgensons lost his stick, so he couldn't chase after the puck into the Montreal zone. Sabres get it in over the line anyway, and on the far boards, it's Mazzaros trying to keep it in against Gallagher. Molson there as well. Bouncing puck sent to the corner. Girgensons sent to the ice again. Gets up, takes a look at the referee, gets back into the play, and at center ice tries to cut off the rush of Plekanec. Plekanec winds and fires, and just enough of it. Caught by the keeper, Michael Neuvert. Who looks now behind the Buffalo goal. Ristolainen on Gallagher. And now Girgensons on the loose puck inside his own zone. Pass here to the near side. And Mazzaros turns it over, gives it right to Desharnais with a drop for Pacioretty. And that's blocked before it got to the net. Mazzaros trying to play it back into his own end, and he just gave the puck away. And now it's Parento in behind the net. Canadians looking for Pacioretty in front, and the puck goes behind the goal. Now Pacioretty, far circle. Brings it to the top of the zone. Turns and fires at a deflection by Parento to the far corner. Sabres on the puck. Flynn trying to move it up the boards near side. Deslauriers can't tip it out. Kept in at the line. Evelyn with a shot, and that goes off the glass. Nobody sees the puck yet. Out of play, apparently off the mesh.
Now Michael Neuvert Facing his 23rd shot here. Plekanec coming down the wing. He's got Gallagher with him, but he's doing the right thing. He's taking the shot. You see Neuwirth right out on top of the blue paint making the save. Check this out here. Gionta hits Subban. Subban tries to take him high, and then Gionta just comes down, hits him right across the shoulder and the side of the head. No love lost there between two ex-teammates.
Off the face-off, Sabres will bring it out of their own zone. Stafford down the right wing against Emelin. Puts it around Emelin down to the corner. Trust trying to clear it out. He does get it outside the line. And it's an offside as Buffalo trying to gain the zone. We're going to go back to our New York State Smokers quit line trivia question. Question of the night: who was the first rookie in Buffalo Sabres history to play all 82 games in his first NHL season?
The answer is Tyler Myers. In 2009-10, he played 82 games, 11 goals, 37 assists, 48 points, and won the Calder Trophy that season.
Sabres trying to clear the puck past center. Habs. Emelin shoots it into the Buffalo zone. Far side off the skate of Eller to the front of the net. Bouncing puck to the line, kept in. Alexei Emelin plays it down into the corner. Zadorov. Plays the puck to the corner near side. Prust. Strachan staying on him. To the circle. Shot is blocked by Sekach. And it's cleared outside the line by Buffalo. Coming into this game, Buffalo had given up 30 5-on-5 goals. The Montreal Canadiens had given up 28. Or 6 of those goals. They've had 11 of those goals for the Montreal Canadiens. Not all of them, of course, have been 5-on-5, but they have been bleeding goals of late. So this 1-1 score tonight on one side of the ledger as the puck is sent down the ice. An icing call coming up. No, we play on. No, we're not going to. Now we get the whistle a little bit late. On Friday, November 7th, the Buffalo Sabres will be participating in the NHL's Hockey Fights Cancer Initiative. The event will include a special pregame ceremony as well as an auction for the players' warm-up jerseys after the game. And to learn more, visit sabres.com/HFC. It'll be a very special night here at First Niagara Center. Off the face-off the Montreal zone, Tyler Ennis. Torrey Mitchell in the far corner. Eller watching him. Puck comes behind the Montreal net. Canadians get the puck out to center and all the way into the Buffalo zone. Bouncing puck on Mazeros. He can't clear. Pacioretty keeps it in. Malhotra far circle. Puck off the end of his stick. Now in behind the net. Dale Weiss keeps it moving here the near side. Pacioretty trying to send the puck out in front again. Stalainen underneath the goal line. Now Mazeros. Has trouble with it. Now he turns it over right behind the net. Here's a pass out front. Malhotra missed it. Markov from Malhotra far circle. Mazeros pins his man against the boards. Weiss trying to walk out front. And the Sabres off the glass and out courtesy of Tyler Ennis. Markov going cross ice for PK Subban, who's passed up the middle, tipped by Pacioretty. And no icing on the play. Stalainen will start it out from behind the net. Pass in the skates of Georges as he tried to move the puck up the ice. And the Canadians will shoot it right back in. Neuwirth laying it off the glass. Canadians, Galchenyuk had the puck. Taken away by Georges. Sabres clear it out to center ice. Here's Gallagher from Montreal. For Plekanec to the right wing. Gallagher trailing. Plekanec keeps it, plays it back to the line. Shot. It's blocked there by Tyler Myers that time. And now it's brought up by Girgensons. To the Montreal blue line where he stood up there by big Jared Tenorti. That's as far as Zemgus will get, and now it's Plekanec to center ice, and he'll lift one to the side of the Buffalo net. Neuwirth forced to make the stop and left it now. Here's Zadorov carrying, shy of center, curls back. Zadorov takes the pass back again, now for Myers. Off the boards, set ahead now for Flynn down to the right wing corner. Oliu stays with him, comes up with a puck. Plays it to the far corner, bouncing puck. Canadians in behind their own net. 1-1 game. P.A. Parento and Drew Stafford, the goal scorers tonight as the Canadians. Brandon Prust comes down the board. Strachan with a big hit deep in the Buffalo zone. Now McCormick gets that puck out to center ice. Here's Delorier with a good hopping his step tonight. Takes it underneath the goal line against the end glass. Flynn trying to play it back to the point, and it's all the way down the ice. Zeros and Ristolainen out defensively for Buffalo once again. Ristolainen takes the pass from Azeros, sends a feed up through the middle of the ice, and Larson in over the Montreal line, has a stick knocked out of his hands, gives the hey what's that? Referees say play on, and the Canadians will bring it up to center. Parento over the line. Parento fires the shot, and Neuvert with the save, but the loose puck picked up by Montreal. Parento again sends it down under the goal line. Canadians, a lot of movement off puck, bouncing puck into the slot. Now Drew Stafford comes up with it. And he'll bring it up the right wing to center ice. He's pushed off the puck by Desharnais, and now Pacioretty at center, right wing, in over the Buffalo line, to the far circle, trying to little dipsy-doodle move on the far side. That's knocked around, and now it's Drew Stafford bringing it back the other way, down the left wing. Stafford with the backhand, goes off the end glass, off the back of the net. 4 Canadians here on the near side. And Emelin will bring the puck up to center ice. Now Plekanec, he's over the Buffalo line. Shot goes wide of the goal, short side. Galchenyuk sends it down low for Plekanec again. Galchenyuk as the Montreal Canadiens go to work in the Buffalo zone. Here's Emelin up top. His shot is blocked. Now a chance with some open ice. Stewart just can't get to the puck as it was knocked ahead. And the Canadiens get away with one there with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go. In this third period, tied at 1. Now with speed, here comes Stewart. Puts one right in on Tokarski, who steers it to the corner near side. Stewart after it. Plays it behind the net, but it's picked up by Lars Eller. 2 goals on the season for Eller as he gains center and offside. Yuri Sekac over on the right wing. 1 apiece. Stafford on the power play, tied it up in the third. Hey, if you're going to get it done once in a game, make it a good one. Drew Stafford with 1 hit tonight, and here it is on Markov, and he sends the defenseman to the ice, and that is our Karuba Collision. Make the right decision. Insist on Karuba Collision, the official collision repair centers of the Buffalo Sabres. Stafford with a power play goal in the third to tie it up, and that hit we highlight here in the third with 6:50 to go. Face off outside the Buffalo blue line. Sabres win the draw. Strachan ahead to Stewart. Couldn't handle the pass. Now PK Subban just inside his own blue line out there with Andre Markov. And they've not always been paired together this year for Montreal, the two of them. And a couple of games consecutive now. Here's Eller in front, trying to jam it in, and Neuvert makes the save. The whistle sounds as Neuvert is pushed back to the line, but he keeps that puck out, at least from our view, and certainly the whistle had blown.
Now that's what you got to be careful of. Montreal attacking with speed here, getting you back. And you see Eller, the nice play, just catching it on his forehand, pulling it around to the front of the net. Got traffic in front. Strachan's occupied by the player on the far side, which just opens up Eller to step right to the front of the net. You see Neuvert pushed right back into the netting.
Face off won by Buffalo. Ristolainen for Gionta. Puck bounced over his stick. Canadians will shoot it back in behind the net. Mazeros for Ristolainen. Trying to play it up the boards near side. This will go the length of the ice. And we'll go back and do it all over again. Buffalo being outshot 10-4 in this period, but the shots for the game are fairly even at 25-23 Montreal. Save up to $104 with the Buffalo Sabres family pack. Package includes 4 300-level game tickets, 4 Salins hot dogs, 4 sodas, and 4 boxes of popcorn. With packages starting at just $199. To purchase a Sabres family pack, visit sabres.com. Galchenyuk off the draw in the Buffalo zone. In behind the net. Now over in the far corner, still with the puck. Turns and takes the shot, and Neuvert makes the save, and right in front of the net. Rasmus Ristolainen standing up to Brendan Gallagher.
He's doing a good job just keeping Gallagher away from Neuvert. Getting his body position, pushing out. And that's what he needs right there. Standing on top of the crease, allowing the goaltender to take the shot. And he just keeping the player away, keeping the stick occupied. So if there's any type of a rebound, he's not going to be able to get control of it. Nice job.
Well, they've given an assist on the Stafford goal to Tyler Ennis, and that would be career assist number 100. for Tyler Ennis. Here's a loose puck on the side of the Montreal net as a Canadiens casual back playing it in their own end. And Buffalo pour on the pressure here on the forecheck. Canadiens send it back into the Buffalo zone. Myers backing up in the near circle. 5 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third. Tied at 1 as Buffalo send the puck down the ice. PK Subban takes a look. He's got it behind the net. Delorier skates by. And Subban sends that one past everyone down the ice. Heinzman says no icing. Feels Buffalo player could have touched the puck. So we continue on. Here's Delainen, Mazzaros with a pass to Cody Hodgson off the left wing. Right off the bench, he shoots it in the Montreal zone. Larson coming down the boards. Larson with the puck. Sends it in front. Hodgson, quick shot, save to Karski. In tight. Cody Hodgson with a quick release there. We stay tied at 1 as Prust sends it in behind the Buffalo net. Now Prust with it again. Galchenyuk behind the goal. On the near side, Malhotra for Prust behind the Buffalo goal. Looking to his left is Neuvert. Here comes the pass in front, and the shot is wide of the goal. Canadiens keep the puck as Galchenyuk cut to the net. Now he's knocked to the ice. Here's Prust. Top of the circle, far side. Shot doesn't get through. Gilbert turns with it again. Now he just drifts one wide of the goal. Coming down is Beaulieu to keep it in behind the net. Galchenyuk. Gilbert far side. Canadiens with all this pressure in the Buffalo zone, but it's a long change for them. And they start that change now. And that's going to afford Buffalo a chance to bring the puck out. Pass up to center ice. Taken by Girgensons. Tried to flip it through the middle. Here's a shot that's sent just wide. That bouncing puck didn't look like it was going to get over to his line mate as Matt Molson was cutting in. Now here's Molson just inside his own blue line. Sabres trying to get it to him to get this rush going up the left wing at center ice. Puck bounces high into the air. Molson knocked to the ice. Georges now for Myers. Right wing at center. Myers will shoot a softie down into the Montreal zone. Subban takes a look. Sees Giunta coming. His former captain. And it's Montreal now to center. In the right wing, here's Eller. In over the Buffalo line. Georges stays with him. Myers brings it to the near boards. And all the way out, the puck comes to center ice. PK Subban looking to get those wheels moving. Nowhere to go. And he shoots it into the Buffalo zone. No icing on the play. And Montreal and Buffalo will get what changes in they can with 3:25 to go in the third. Myers just inside his own blue line. Ahead. Brian Flynn took a hit as he tipped that puck into the Montreal zone. Slow to go to the bench now, but here comes Pacioretty back for Montreal. They stay on side of the line. Pacioretty, glove save made by Neuvert. Just got enough of it. Now Stewart down the left wing. Trying to keep that puck, but he lost it as he got to the Montreal line. Looking to line up Pacioretty, who carries down the left wing and into the Buffalo zone. Trying to cut to the net, lost it. Stewart comes up with it. Pass cross ice, now up through the middle. Delorier brings it over to the right wing corner, deep in the Montreal zone. Looks back in the high slot. There's a shot, dragged wide by Tyler Ennis. Ennis waiting for the puck in behind the net. Here's Stewart trying to jam it in short side, and Tokarski holds his ground to keep the puck out. And now Parenteau and Stewart get tied up. But with 2:36 to go in period number 3, this game remains tied at 1 apiece. Time to take a look at our Toyota Big Save. And right after Drew Stafford scores for the Buffalo Sabres, how about this save with a quick pad by Michael Neuvert as Dale Weiss looks for his first of the year. Not happening there, my friend. Toyota Big Save brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
He's faced 28 shots here tonight. Once again, right on top of everything, tracking the puck, doing a nice job following the play. As we talked about, freezing the puck every opportunity he had if he wasn't 100% sure of what was going to happen.
Sabres back in their own zone. Ennis has it go off his stick. And we get a whistle on the play. Face-off is coming outside the Buffalo blue line.
Delayed offside. Gallagher didn't realize it was offside. Continued to follow the play in. Brian Flynn got done here in the neutral zone. He's gone to the room too.
Tyler Ennis, 4 for 11 on face-offs tonight as he wins that one. Myers for Georges, and he tried to play that puck ahead, looking for the tip at center ice, but pretty tough to tip the puck when you get knocked to the ice.
Yeah, you get pushed from behind. You're planning on the puck coming. You're looking to get your stick on it. You get pushed from behind with a little bit of a cross check.
Torrey Mitchell pleading his case with the linesman. He says, hey, go talk to the guy with the other color on his arm. Not my call. Face off to the left of Neuvert, won cleanly by Montreal. Gilbert will send it in behind the net. Comes around to the near side. Bouncing puck to the line and out. Stewart trying to backhand a pass up the middle. That's intercepted by Desharnais. Stewart leaning his way back on Desharnais to get it back again. Now Ennis can't get it around Emelin, who gloves it down. Pacioretty for Desharnais over the Buffalo line. Left circle, back in the middle, looking for the shot from Pacioretty, but well tied up. Meszaros just stayed right in the way, and now Tyler Ennis brings it ahead for Chris Stewart at center ice. Stewart shoots it in, it's off the leg, but right back to Ennis, and a quick shot goes wide on the left pad of Dustin Tokarski. With 1:35 to go, Ennis crawling over Desharnais to get to the puck. He does, sends it to the far circle. Turning with it, Stafford. Gilbert with a hit on him. Stafford knocks down, gets back up again, and sends it to an open corner near side. Racing after Ristolainen, takes a big hit, but keeps the puck on the boards. Cody Hodgson, seeing that, races down into the play. He can't drag it to the corner, and the Canadiens, Pacioretty gets it to the line, but not out. Kept in. Hodgson for Stafford in the right circle, trying to make a move inside, lost the puck. Gets it back again, sends it behind the net. Gilbert there from Montreal. Hodgson plays it to the near boards. Canadiens trying to clear. It's off of Myers and down the ice. Myers didn't touch it. Fortunate for Buffalo, and this is an icing call against Montreal. 57.8 seconds to go in a 1-1 game here in the third.
Yeah, they got some tired guys. I think they're going to call a timeout here, Montreal. He's trying to stall as long as he can.
Well, there's the timeout call finally.
Yeah, finally. Ritzel comes down the wall. This is what you like to see. You know what? You pay the price, but you're able to keep the puck alive. And when you do that, good things will happen. You pick and choose when you go down that wall. You see there ended up being a turnover at the blue line. Sabres able to go back into the Montreal zone. But sometimes you get hit just to make the play, and you got to be willing to do that.
Rob, over the last two games, again, I know it's a small sample size, but when you're looking for little signs here, people so far this season have asked, what are the Buffalo Sabres? It's the way they played against Detroit, the way they're playing tonight against Montreal. I know it's not perfection, but are we seeing a little bit of what the character of this team is, what they want it to be about?
Yeah, I think you're seeing maybe the Ted Nolan character coming out, something they've tried to pound in their head since day one, what they're going to have to do to be successful, and that is play a physical game, a smart game, give up not very much, and play as clean a game as you possibly can, and I think that's what they've done here tonight.
Face-off won by Buffalo. Far corner of the Montreal zone. Molson Gilbert comes up with the puck. He's bothered by Gianta. Played behind the Canadiens' net. Emelin trying to clear. He'll get a second chance to do so. Lift the puck down the ice and actually goes up out of play. But it took a deflection. Face-off will come back into the Montreal end again, but the Canadiens get to make that line change they desperately needed.
I think you're seeing, too, it's the effort. And if you can put 60-minute effort together, win or lose, you know, you're going to get better. You're going to get better because you're working harder. And when you're working harder, you're working together. And where you're doing all the little things, sticking to the game plan, not getting away from that game plan for, you know, even 2, 3, or 10 minutes a game. That's when you get yourself in trouble. If you can be dedicated and play for 60 minutes, it'll work for you.
Andre Meszaros, 25 minutes and 23 seconds, leading the Sabres in ice time tonight, as Myers has to race back with Plekanec watching him under the goal line of the Buffalo zone. Gallagher against Georges. Plays it up the boards. Galchenyuk's pass goes off his skate in the slot. Myers is there, trying to clear. It's kept in at the line by Galchenyuk. Now Plekanec's turn, shoots one at the goal, steered by Neuvert to the near boards. 18 seconds to go in the period. Sabres on the puck in their own zone. Off the glass, right wing side by Girgensons. Into the Montreal zone. PK Subban watched by Molson with 6 seconds to go. Puck sent down the ice, and an icing call coming up here, yes or no? Yes.
Yes, there is. 3.4 seconds left on the clock, too. You got Brian Trottier and Ted Nolan talking together here, trying to figure out who they're going to get onto the ice for this face-off. And all these kind of things have been planned in practice. They've gone over this 100 times. Everybody knows where they're supposed to go. You got Drew Stafford taking the face-off, Ennis in the shooting position. And you got Stewart and Georges going to the net to cause some confusion.
Drew Stafford tonight, 2 for 3 on draws. Plekanec 10 for 18. Been a busy night. And Stafford's going to be waved out of the face-off circle. He's not happy about it. Tyler Ennis will step in.
Yeah, they got to change the clock. They started the clock. It went down to 2.3. There they are, back to 3.4.
Well, now it's Chris Stewart who stepped in to take the draw. Ennis will stand at the edge of the circle on the inside. Oh, Stewart. 3.4 seconds. Face off. The puck comes to the near side of the net, and it's cleared off the boards, and that'll do it as the horn sounds to end regulation play with a 1-1 score between these two teams.
Well, once again, very good effort for 60 minutes. There was maybe 2 or 3 shifts where the Sabres got caught in their own zone, running around a little bit. Michael Neuwirth able to bail them out. But for the most part, pretty solid effort from start to finish here by the Sabres.
19 seconds into the third period, P.A. Parenteau's third of the year put Montreal on top. But on the power play, Drew Stafford tied it. Well, Montreal's a quick team. If you chase him, you're going to tire yourself out. Montreal had the puck for 11 minutes and 41 seconds of that third period. 5 minutes and 37 seconds of that spent in the Buffalo zone. The Sabres had the puck in the Montreal zone just 2 minutes and 27 seconds in that third period. Of course, each team with a goal apiece. That's what matters at the end of the night. But I only reference that point as, again, the Montreal Canadiens, a skating hockey club, as Rob mentioned, coming off a game last night. And you got to give marks for staying in this one. And for the Buffalo Sabres, back-to-back solid outings here. And now with the overtime, Tyler Myers carrying the puck as Buffalo works from right to left in the extra frame.
No, you're right. Give them credit, Montreal, because Buffalo has skated them hard and hit them hard. And they're still step for step with the Sabres.
Georges shoots one right on. Tokarski with a save, and a face-off coming up in the Montreal zone. We'll see who comes over the board to take the draw for Ted Nolan.
They got Ennis and Stafford going with Mazzaros and Ristolainen on the back end.
And Montreal counters with Plekanec. Will likely take the draw.
You want to have a lot of fun? Sit and listen to PK Subban for a whole game. This guy doesn't stop. I love it.
Manny Malhotra out there, so there's no doubt when he's on the ice, he's going to take the face-off to the right of Tokarski. Rivers got the puck off the draw. In behind the Montreal net. That's up on the left wing side. There's 4-on-4 overtime. Sees Montreal and Evelyn carrying it in. A shot deflects high off the end glass and behind the net. Ristolainen plays it to the far corner. Tyler Ennis now will skate it to his own blue line to center. Short pass ahead. Ennis is going straight to the net. Here's Mazzaros with a shot. Tokarski with a big save in behind the net. Ennis turns with the puck. Mazzaros goes to the front of the net. Backs a defender right in on the goal. Now Drew Stafford. Right wing hash marks. Makes a move on Plekanec. Drives to the net. Can't drag the puck with him. Stays with it though. Has it here in the near corner. Stafford plays it up top to the far side. Now for Ennis. Trying a little tip pass, and that's intercepted. And Galchenyuk will bring it up to center. He'll try to make things happen. He's on his own. Galchenyuk over on the left wing boards. Pulls it back towards the point. Runs into PK Subban. Now the Sabres with a chance for a potential 2-on-1. Pass over on the right wing side, and stopping instead of going to the net was Torrey Mitchell. And after the shot and saved by Tokarski, it's covered up for a face-off on the Montreal zone.
Well, in overtime, you've always got to be aware of the D jumping up in the play. And that's exactly what Mazzaros does here. Great job jumping through. Drew Stafford's going to find him as Ennis busts his way through to the net for a great opportunity early in this overtime.
Mitchell in the face-off against Malhotra. Torrey Mitchell comes up with that left wing corner. He'll play it back to the line. Josh Georges goes cross ice. Myers waits on it. Still holding it. Now lays it off for Mitchell, who comes to meet the play. Turns towards goal. Here's Georges down at the near point. Couldn't get it on his stick. Georges circles with the puck. Back to the line. Kept in by Mitchell. Now for Myers. Here on the near side. Myers is going to change places with Georges. Georges takes the pass and a pad save. Looking behind it. Tokarski doesn't know where it is, but he's kept it out.
Oh, it was sitting right in front of his pads. Wide open. I don't think anybody realized where it was. Tokarski definitely didn't know where it was. This puck's going to lay right there. And he's looking behind him. Matty Molson's trying to get his stick on it. Markov's doing a great job tying up Matt Molson. He's not able to get a piece of that puck. Right there, you see his stick just drag by it, but not able to poke it back through the pads.
2:58 to go in the overtime. Girgensons. This time against Plekanec. Again to the right of Tokarski. Both players down to the crouch, waiting for the linesman to drop it. Cleanly won by Girgensons. Mazzero's cross ice, wrist the liner, one-timer, and he hammers that one wide. Puck comes up the boards near side. Canadians Emelin on it. Girgensons went for a fall. Ice opens up on the far side of the Canadians. Goravel will make his way in to the Buffalo zone down to the far corner. Look at that bully-oo. Along with Gallagher, he's sent to the ice with a hit by Mazzeros. And the Buffalo Sabres will bring it into the Montreal zone. Here's a chance for Girgensons with a shot from the circle. Rebound in front. Trying to swipe at it, but it's cleared. Now Gallagher will bring it out to center on the left wing. Girgensons racing back with him. Girgensons stays with him and helps win the puck back for Buffalo. Rasmus Ristolainen. Drop pass at center. Georges going cross ice with that one. Pacioretty almost intercepted. Stays with Drew Stafford. Over on the far boards, Ennis jumps down low in the play as well. Now 3 Canadians jump up. PK Subban into the play. Drop pass over the line. Desharnais back to Subban in front, and he tipped it just wide. And the Montreal Canadiens putting some pressure on, and now back checking is Subban, and he lifts the stick of Tyler Ennis. Here's Pacioretty, drags to the outside, takes a shot, pad saved by Neuvert. Markov over on the far side, keeps it in. 1:35 to go in overtime. Canadians up top. Pacioretty, Subban over at the far point. Takes it down to the hash marks, lays it up top. Here's a one-timer. Oh, what a save made by Neuvert. Rocket quick pad to get over on Pacioretty. Tyler Ennis comes the other way down the right wing. Takes the shot to Karski. The save. Is the puck loose? It comes free. Yes, it did come free, but the whistle did blow. Well, Michael Neuvert gets an ovation here, and he deserves it.
Yeah, he does. And he just saved the game for the Buffalo Sabres right here. And you see him taking a look at the Jumbotron right now to see what happened himself. But great pass across. And he gets post to post and able to get that left leg out and the glove to make the save.
Face off the Montreal zone. Malhotra wins it. 1:10 to go in overtime as Parenteau plays it back. And Tom Gilbert behind the net. Parenteau says, I'll come back, take it. Gives it right back to Gilbert. Parenteau's up here on the right wing. As the Montreal Canadiens have got Galchenyuk trying to lean his way in around the Buffalo net. He's bumped off the puck eventually, and the Sabres with 47 seconds to go in overtime will bring it into the Montreal zone. Shot steered by Tokarski off the near boards. Canadians get it out to center and into the Buffalo zone. Galchenyuk with a shot, and he snapped that around Mazzeros, and again Neuvert makes the save at the near post.
Now he's not making any mistakes. He's hanging on to the puck. And he's freezing at every opportunity. You see him right on top of the blue paint right there. And he just kind of vacuums that puck right into his belly pad. And he covers it up, makes sure there's no rebound, no second opportunities. Playing very safe.
I think Buffalo's about to call a timeout here as Zemgus Girgensons skates over to the referee. And with 33.8 seconds to go to face-off in the Buffalo zone, Ted Nolan and the coaching staff giving his players, it looks like, Rob, just more of a breather than anything else.
Well, this is who he wants on the ice. There's no instruction going on by any of the coaches.
Mazzeros goes to the bench. Josh Georges comes onto the ice.
just gives a little bit of a chance for Michael Neuvert to collect himself and make sure he's in the right spot. Michael Neuvert's faced 32 shots to this point. Sabres have generated 31.
Face-off will be to his left. Zemgus Girgensons against Plekanec. Again, players are the ready. Linesman drops the puck. Montreal wins the draw. Markov trying to get it to the front of the net. And is cleared down the ice. This will be an icing call against Buffalo. I guess you're going to get called for icing at any time. That was probably the best time. He just came back from a timeout.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, if there's nothing there, you don't hesitate to get it out. As long as you get it out of the zone. Just do not want to have any type of a turnover inside the blue line. Face-off, or the icing is not a bad play.
Girgensons and Plekanec again. Neuvert looks to his left as Georges plays it off the end boards behind the net. Tyler Myers now ahead of Plekanec, gets the puck out to center. Gallagher backhands it around Georges. He'll chase after it. Georges takes a look. Gallagher stays on him. Myers right back to Georges here in the near corner. Left wing side for Buffalo. Now Girgensons with Plekanec all over and skates to the Buffalo line and now to center. Zemgus Girgensons winds and fires, and Tokarski right at the buzzer. Snaps that blocker out. And Zemgus Girgensons came awfully close to ending that at the horn, and we know he can do it in the shootout. He's done it before. Will he do it again? We'll find out. Overtime in the books. We go to a shootout in Buffalo next. 1-1 through overtime, and it is shootout time. And the last time the Buffalo Sabres went to a shootout, you don't need the best memory in the world to recall what happened. As it was a good night for Tyler Ennis and maybe even a better night for that man in Zemgus Girgensons, who continues to show all of us, Rob, what a nice little flair he has with those hands that are usually used for pushing players out of the way.
I would expect all three of those, or both of those guys will be in the top three, and you're starting off with Brian Gionta here.
Brian Gionta, without a goal so far this year, takes the puck at center against his former team. Gionta holds strike, scores!
Oh, he came back by the Montreal bench, and did he give it to them? He went in and made this play to the backhand post and in, cross to the other post, and he skated back by the Montreal bench. And he had a few choice things to say as he went by.
So Galchenyuk is 1 for 3. He will be the first shooter from Montreal. Neuvert, top of the blue plate. Galchenyuk between the hash marks, digs and scores. Quick hands.
Yeah, that's real quick. As it almost looked like he got in so tight that he was nowhere else to go. Right here, look.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some real quick hands and real quick feet. And Michael Neuvert got caught moving to the left. And he ended up having the whole right side of the net and put it in.
Matt Moulson is 1 for 2 in shootouts this year. Moulson from center. Tokarski well out. Moulson makes his way in, and Tokarski with a save. Going to his right.
Yeah, I think Matt just on his way in, trying to figure out what he was going to do, waiting to see what the goaltender was going to give him. He made the quick little move there, thinking he was going to bite, but he didn't. He stayed right with them.
David Desharnais is 1 for 3 this year. He will shoot next for Montreal. He's inside his own blue line. And a big skate up to center usually means some speed. He slows it down, drifting to the left. Now between the circles. Save made by Neuvert. Michael just held his ground on that one.
And that's all he could do, right out on top of the crease. And he tries taking a little fake shot. Watched Thomas Vanek do that many times going in on the shootout. But Michael Neuvert stayed right with it, did not bite at all.
Looked like he gave him 5-hole Rob and just took it away from him.
Yeah, as he went down, he just opened it and then quickly closed it.
Zemgus Girgensons 2 for 2 The next shooter for the Buffalo Sabres comes wide right. Girgensons cuts in. Oh, he made the right move, but Tokarski with the active stick keeps it out.
Oh, he had him. He had him going back against the flow. And you're going to the big stick comes out because he had his body going the opposite direction and just luckily able to get that poke check out to knock the puck off Girgenson's stick.
P.A. Parenteau 2 for 3 on shootouts. Up next for Montreal. Michael Neuvirth standing between the posts now, makes his way out. Again wide left. Parenteau walks in and scores top shelf far side, and the Montreal Canadiens off the bench to celebrate the win.
Now Michael Neuvirth still down in his net. Not happy with that one. But he got a piece of it. He got a piece of it. Parenteau comes in. He's just waiting to see what's going to happen. Nice quick shot. And he just goes far side top shelf. And I don't think Neuvirth did get a piece of that one. But nevertheless, great effort by the Sabres here tonight. Gaining a point. What that means, whatever. But they just came out, and once again, I just think that 60 strong minutes, and out we're into overtime. They continued to stay with the game plan. They stuck together. They worked hard. They were physical. They just got to learn how to close things out here. Getting that opportunity, staying close. Now they got to take the next step and start closing some of these games out.
Well, there's the man from Montreal that the Canadiens, they did thank to a man after the game, because if not for that poke check by Dustin Tokarski, we could either still be going or it could be a decision the other way. But as we send it to the post-game show, gentlemen, I think Dustin Tokarski has to get the nod for the big moment there from Montreal.